The Daily Read. Your source for news, politics, sports, and all things trending. Here's your host, Marcus Gentry.
Friends, and I don't think you could listen to Malachi and not have a strong opinion one way or the other. He was aware of the full contents of it.
San Francisco has now become virtually uninhabitable because of the bums crapping in the street, because of the robbery and the crime that's being covered up. And I don't blame the police. I blame liberalism. Liberalism is a mental disorder, and wherever super liberals take over, the cities go to the toilet bowl.
And I'm telling you
that's not what you're talking about. That's not what you said during the speech. I was listening to the speech, and I was listening to you.
First of all, it wasn't a speech.
Interrupt
Here's the deal.
The three panelists and the president. You were not one of the panelists. If you were the journalist, why weren't you up there asking questions?
We have journalists up here every year. We've been around 49 years. So we have multiple journalists.
Why were you not on that stage?
Let me be real clear.
You were just in the audience screaming live?
Let me be real clear.
From row one?
Let me be real clear.
Who put you in row one?
Because you're cute and you get your little video. So you're talking to somebody who has far more history in this organization.
That's Roland Martin arguing at the NABJ convention. That's all he was doing the whole time, screaming and being emotional. Now, before the event, he spoke out against having an all-female panel to interview Trump.
No black male journalist. Got 4,000 members.
The truth is, he really didn't care about black men having a voice. He just wanted to wobble up there himself. No, he was not advocating for black men. He was advocating for Roland. He didn't want Trump at the event at all, but didn't care that the NABJ wasn't important enough for Kamala to show up too. They spent the last 2 weeks worshiping this non-black, racially ambiguous chameleon just for her to turn around and disrespect them by not having her at their event.
The business, motherfucker.
The Daily Read.
Welcome to the Daily Read, and I am your host, Marcus Gentry. Now, today we're going to talk about how America is eating itself. And I got to go back to two men that got me started on my journey of talk radio. One was Art Bell, and the other was Michael Savage. You know, some of you might not know these names, but I advise you to look them up. When I first started my career in truck driving about 13, 14 years ago, I can remember first running across these guys. I was driving on an old dirt road in South Dakota, and this dirt road was taking me towards an oil rig. I had to deliver some heavy equipment to an oil rig, and I can remember hearing Michael Savage, and he's the first person I heard say, he actually coined the words, liberalism is a mental disorder. And then right after his show came Art Bell. Of course, this is late at night, and Michael Savage was just starting his career, or he had not too long been into talk radio. And I was like, wow, I can do that. And I can remember hearing the stories about him going, and this is for all my guys that look at him on or listen to him on talk radio and iHeartRadio. If you really sit down and listen to what he said this years before Obama became president. He watched how America was eating itself. And it is. America is on a spiral. Rome went this way. Rome was destroyed not because of outside forces, but because of itself. And America might lag along for 50 to 100 more years, but this country is slowly eating itself. We're going to talk about Kamala Harris versus Donald Trump at the end of this program, but I want to get into the two men that saw this coming. This is very important because there are some people out here who see the patterns like I see the patterns. I just got through watching Umbrella Academy. It's a pretty good show. It's on season 4. It's on Netflix. And it reminded me that I haven't did movie reviews in a while. I started noticing patterns in the movies, just like in the music industry. And I know this sounds like I'm going off on a different topic, but I'm not. Listen carefully to what I'm saying. The music industry is having a shakeup in the order of things as far as leadership roles. You used to have all the top-notch heads of the big rap companies. You had Rockefeller. You had Cash Money, No Limit. You had these record labels down in Texas with the whole crew down there. Death Row, Bad Boy. All of those people are gone. And the ones that are still lingering around are being dismantled. Because what's happening is these guys are over 20 years old as far as the music industry go. And now it's time for some new blood. And in the movie industry, they've done the same thing. It's a cycle. You got Sylvester Stallone with his last Rocky films. You got him doing the movie with all the old action figure stars, the B films, even the A films. And you got Axel Foley is back in Beverly Hills Cop. It seems like it's the pattern. Is what I'm trying to tell you. And the pattern is getting worse. It used to be a normal pattern to where a couple of old movie stars would do their last hurrah, their last movie, and then disappear. Now, if you watch Wolverine and Deadpool, when you got Hugh Jackman, who's almost 60, still doing Wolverine, this is his last hurrah. When you see Eddie Murphy jumping back into the role of Axel Foley with that goofy ass laugh, ha 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 ha, or however the hell that laugh was, it was crazy. It was cool for the 80s, but it was almost like when I heard him laugh like that again for that movie, it was almost cringy. And this is what I'm saying about how America is eating itself. Usually they do their last hurrah, disappear, and it's over with. But now things have gotten so bad to where there is nobody to take over. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. In the music industry, they're getting rid of Puff Daddy because he didn't quietly go away like everybody else did. Master P quietly went away. Baby, Cash Money quietly went away. Jay Prince is not quietly going away. Puffy is not quietly going away. So what they're doing is they're forcing, by bringing out all kinds of dirt that half of these people was involved in. Half of these people already knew what was going on, but now they're bringing up all of this dirt trying to clear him out the way. But what's next? What's next? Think about what I'm saying. And it's the same thing in politics. Everything's a cycle. Music, movies, and now we get into politics. They cleared Joe Biden out the way. Okay? They trying to bring some new blood with Kamala Harris, but Kamala Harris is not really new blood. She's not really new blood. Donald Trump is definitely not new blood. And when you clear these people out, because the choice is Kamala Harris or Donald Trump, we're in trouble, America. And what I'm trying to say is, once these people get 4 more years in office, what comes next? What comes next? And the people that's coming up behind them are just as vicious as these old heads that we're trying to clear out the way. Let me get to the guys that got me started on my journey for talk radio.
The business, motherfucker.
The Daily Read, your source for news, politics, sports, and all things trending. Here's your host, Marcus Gentry.
I never met the man in person, but I interviewed him for countless hours on the radio. I was very fortunate, and we became close friends, and I don't think you could listen to Malachi and not have a strong opinion one way or the other. He was aware of the full contents of the third secret of Fatima, and he shared some of those that I cannot share with you or anybody because I promised. What he did say, if you want something chilling, is that try and imagine the very worst thing that you can imagine. We live now in the day of ISIS and terrorism and people getting burned alive, and so he said, imagine the very worst you can imagine, and then I will tell you that it's going to be much worse than that. So there are many things like that he said to me that will never leave my mind and will probably worry me to the grave.
That's where we're at today. Right now, we're heading down this road too. We're gonna head on down this road, just to the corner there, where Art Bell used to live and did a lot of his broadcasts from. Let's go check it out. This is where a lot of those coast-to-coast shows were broadcast from. In his own studio here. As you can see, he was a ham radio operator. Man, this is look at all these wires. Hold up these antennas. Some pretty elaborate stuff here. Anyway, this is Art Bell's residence. The former residence. His family, I believe, still live.
That was Art Bell, people. Art Bell, to me, was like, I don't know how to describe it. For any of you guys that work in the trucking industry, you know who I'm talking about. Art Bell was the man for late night when you're driving and you're bored, you're tired of listening to music. Art Bell was like, he was like that savior. And I hope I can be that for many people that's listening to my voice, especially if you listen to iHeartRadio. Because this man, and I'm gonna get a phone line in here sooner or later. I'm gonna get a phone line in here because it's good to talk to the public and get the things that they've seen and done in life recorded. Because Art Bell has hundreds of hours of listening to truck drivers and people out in the desert, people out in the mountains, people out in the woods who had a story to tell. And it wasn't just necessarily it wasn't just necessarily stories about life in general. These were stories that he would grab you by the seat of your pants. I'm talking about alien invasions. He would talk about ghost stories. People heard there was creaks in the night and turn around and there wasn't nothing there. And he would let you talk. No matter how crazy the story was that you had, he would let you get it off, because he wanted you to be heard. And I appreciated that, because that kept me many a nights working late in the oil field. They kept me and the guys up. Like, we had to stay up and listen to Art Bell. Now this next guy, because it wasn't just Art Bell, it was Michael Savage also. Now Mark Levin, Rush Limbaugh, I didn't fool with those guys. I didn't like their politics. I don't really like Michael Savage's politics, but he is a true talk radio host. He was better than the rest, because even if you didn't like his politics, him personally, he would grab you by the seat of your pants too. Listen, just listen to a little bit of what he had to say about liberalism is a mental disorder. Just pay attention and listen to him.
Go to Boca Raton, Florida. She's on the other side, Joe, in Boca Raton. Welcome. You say the Arizona law is wrong. Is that correct?
Yes, I think it's absolutely racist that they're telling the illegal aliens that they can't come into Arizona. They can do what they want to. I mean, we're in America. We have to have open doors.
Wait. You're saying too many things at once. They're saying what?
That we need
You're saying, wait, ma'am. Are you aware of the fact that a country has borders? Are you aware of that?
I'm saying that we need to get rid of our borders so we can welcome all forms and walks of life.
Of course you're pulling my leg.
I'm serious. Just look at how your ancestors got here.
Well, they didn't come here illegally. Maybe yours did. How did yours get here? Did they come here illegally?
I don't know, but they got over here somehow, and now
well, apparently they pulled from the lowest level of the gene pool from where you came from, that you don't even know how a nation is defined. San Francisco has now become virtually uninhabitable because of the bums crapping in the street, because of the robbery and the crime that's being covered up. And I don't blame the police, I blame liberalism. Liberalism is a mental disorder, and wherever super liberals take over, the cities go to the toilet bowl. Look at New York. I was just there last week. You take your life in your hands, walking around with the folks with the box cutters underneath the cup, the shaking cup. But I want to talk about the bums in San Francisco, the bums in New York. In other words, what you call homeless. The word homeless itself is a fabrication of the radical left, because so far as I know, there is no biblical. Let's talk about the Constitution, not the Bible. Can anyone show me where in the Bible it says I owe a bum a house? Show me where it says I owe them a house. What I owe them is a jail cell or a mental hospital. It's the only housing that they're entitled to.
Stop. I gotta stop. This is the man that got me on my journey. And if you listen to him, if you really listen to him, I mean, seriously, this guy was like the best on talk radio. He's the best. Listen, keep listening.
So the bums are now so brazen because the cops have been neutralized by the liberals that they're literally openly defecating and peeing in the streets in front of people. Now, you know the city for its Golden Gate Bridge, the mixture of cultures and races, the beautiful fog, and mainly the bums, the out-of-control bums who came into the city mainly during the hippie era. They urinate in your face now. They've been doing this for a long time, but it's gotten real bad under the new mayor.
Some of your own supporters, including Republicans.
I'm gonna stop that right there. We're about to get into Donald Trump versus Kamala Harris, because there's another young lady, there's another person, a young lady, Pink Book Lessons. Okay. Now, the reason why I put her on here with Michael Savage and Art Bell, because there are very few talk radio shows, and she's not really on talk radio, she's on YouTube, and there's very few people that can catch my attention like that. She has a well put together show, and the phrase that she coined that caught my attention was, she'll pause and be like, wait a damn minute. I almost spit my coffee out. When I heard that, I almost spit my coffee out, because a person like this, these people are rare. People that can catch your attention and really grab you by the seat of your pants like that and have some real good content is very rare. And she sees it. When I say that Michael Savage and Art Bell, because sometimes Art Bell will get off into politics, and when I say Art Bell and Michael Savage knew 20 years ago that this was happening, when they was talking about it on talk radio 20 years ago. As far as, you know, Rush Limbaugh and the other guy, Mark Levin, I don't really like them like that. They're not cut like that. They're not cut like Michael Savage. And now you got this new female up here, Pink Book Lessons. She grabs you by the seat of your pants, and she gives it to you raw. She reminds me of a black female version of Michael Savage. And when he said he used to leave his house with his little pet poodle, Michael Savage, his kids are grown, he's an older man, and he would take a stroll through San Francisco. And I've been through San Francisco, and he said he would see the hobos and bums just everywhere, and defecating and pissing in the streets. Like, you know, you couldn't, he had a favorite Chinese restaurant that he would frequently go to, and whenever he would go to his favorite Chinese restaurant, he said, I can't even get in the door without stepping over feces and bums in the street. I mean, the guy was hilarious. He's hilarious. And it made me, whatever city I'm in, sometimes it makes me stop and just walk around and get the feel of the people in that city. Sometimes I drive through a certain city that I've never been to before, and I'll stop at a gas station or a restaurant and eat the food. And there are certain cities, and he's right, there are certain cities in this country that mostly are run by Democrats. I'm not saying Democrats are good, Republicans are bad, Republicans good, Democrats. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is there are certain cities in this country that are ran by the Democrats, and you can feel the intense corruption around you, and not just in the black community, not just gangs, you can feel that Memphis is one of them, Chicago is one of them, New York is one of them, Nashville. When I first moved there, I didn't really feel it because I wasn't actually in Nashville, I was in Murfreesboro. But whenever I go to Nashville, you can feel that there's an undercurrent of bullshit in certain cities. And Dallas is one. Houston is half and half. You just got certain. Jacksonville is one. You got certain cities that when you drive through them, you can feel that these people ain't really right like that. And then you got certain cities that you drive through, like I was in San Diego about a week ago, and you didn't feel that undercurrent of corruption. I'm not saying it's not there. Okay, I'm not saying it's not there. I'm not saying you got your crooked cops. I'm not saying you got your crooked people. But you don't feel a crooked undercurrent like you do in some of these cities. You don't feel that the people are just running wild, doing whatever they want to do. And it's crazy. But let's get to Pink Book lessons, because I want to demonstrate how her and Michael Savage, to me, are almost the same coin, but she has a different platform. She does hers on YouTube. Listen to Pink Book lessons.
Republicans on Capitol Hill have labeled Vice President Kamala Harris, who is the first Black and Asian American woman to serve as Vice President and be on a major party ticket, as a DEI hot.
Actually, I gotta stop that. She's coming up next. Hold on, let me get to her. This is Donald. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and do this first. This is Donald Trump talking about Kamala Harris and how she's now posing to be black.
Is that acceptable language to you? And will you tell those Republicans and those supporters to stop it?
How do you define DEI? Go ahead. How do you define
diversity, equity, and inclusion?
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Is that what your definition?
That is
give me a definition. Then. Will you give me a definition?
Yeah.
Give me a definition.
Sir, I'm asking you a question.
No, you have to define it for me.
I just defined it, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is only on the ticket because she is a black woman?
Well, I can say no. I think it's maybe a little bit different. So I've known her a long time indirectly, not directly very much, and she was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she black?
She has always identified as a black woman.
I respect either one. I respect either one, but she obviously doesn't, because she was Indian all the way, and then all of a sudden she made a turn and she became a black person.
Just to be clear, sir, do you believe that
I think somebody should look into that too when you continue in a very hostile, nasty tone.
It's a direct question, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is a DEI hire, as some Republicans have said?
I really don't know. I mean, I really don't know. Could be.
That was Donald Trump. I don't like this man. I think he's a bigot. But I can't take anything away from what he said. I mean, he was speaking facts. When she was in California as a DA, she showed no mercy to black men. She incarcerated them by the thousands. And her thing was, hell, she ain't black. She don't care about that. You know, she was the first Indian district attorney in California, the head DA. She don't give a damn about that. And you know, Donald Trump, we got a choice between two evils. We got Kamala Harris. This is Hillary Clinton 2.0. For those of you who are old enough to remember, and I'm sure damn near everybody listening to this program is old enough to remember the Donald Trump versus Hillary Clinton debacle. And same thing is happening again. Somebody is trying to push the agenda of having a first female president. And I think it's a part of being a part of the global community. And it's cool. I get it. I understand. You got first female prime minister here and first female prime minister of this country. And America is the only one of the few countries who've never had a female as the head of the country. I get it. I understand what they're trying to push. And what they're trying to say is Hillary Clinton should have beat Donald Trump. They put Hillary Clinton up against the worst candidate you can imagine, and she still lost. So now they're trying it again. This is the reason why they haven't put Donald Trump in handcuffs yet, because they put the worst candidate against the female. And if she fails to beat Donald Trump, it only goes to show how America is a shitty ass country. Already you got black people talking about them, and make no mistake about it, I'm not giving all praises to Kamala Harris. I don't like her like that. But she is the better choice between Donald Trump and her. She's the better choice. But you got people in the minority community stuck on this, she ain't black, this, I'm not voting for her just to be voting for her. You're gonna vote for a bigot? This is the same thing that happened between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. Same thing. They had to lower the bar on the Republican side so low in order for a woman to win the presidency. They did it with, and Donald Trump, this is one thing I can say about him. I think he knows now what America's trying to do. I think he understands that he's there and not in handcuffs because he is the worst candidate, the worst president. He's the worst. He knows this now. And they keep putting a woman up against him because they try to push that agenda of making the woman the head of everything America. He sees this. I don't know. I don't wash my hands of this. I was against Donald Trump for years. When we faced off against Hillary, when we faced off against Joe Biden, I was against this man for years. But now I really don't give a shit. I've come to the conclusion that, this is the slow spiral. The death knell of America is slowly going down the tubes, going down the drains. And Michael Savage saw it. Him and Art Bell. They saw it 20-something years ago. Now let's get the Pink Book lessons, because I love her show. She's right up there to me, right up there with Art Bell and Michael Savage.
You say he lies, but you work, and I'm telling you the lies. That's not what you said during the speech. I was listening to the speech, and I was listening to it wasn't a speech. Interrupt the three panelists and the president. You were not one of the panelists. If you were the journalist, why were you up there? I've been with journalists up here every year. We've been around 49 years. But you specifically, why were you not on that stage? Let me be real clear. You were just in the audience screaming that you lied? Let me be real clear.
Let me give you context to what you're listening to. This is Roland Martin, okay? He's a part of some kind of black he's a part of this black coalition of interviewers, and they've been around for 40 years. These people are basically news media, and they've grouped together, and he's mad because they put all females on stage to interview Donald Trump. They didn't put no men. Roland Martin's mad, but I've been seeing the patterns. is what's going on. They are putting female at the head of everything in America. I don't know what this is, but it's troubling. And there's nothing wrong with a female being the boss. There's nothing wrong with a female being the president. There's nothing wrong with a female being a senator. What I'm saying is the push is wrong. The forcing is wrong. They are treading a fine line. They're treading a fine line between letting it happen naturally and pushing it and forcing it on people.
Because you're cute and you get your little video. So you're talking to somebody who has far more history in this organization than you've ever been. I'm not a member. That's true. There you go. Definitely not an NABJ member. When you're not a member, you have no understanding of our history or our membership. You don't realize founders are sitting here. You don't realize that board presidents are sitting here. You can just rudely interrupt from the first row. Let me say it again. That's not what journalists do. Oh, actually, you have to wait up. You're not a panelist. Are you a journalist? I think I am. Or I'm asking real questions. Are you a journalist? Are you a journalist?
I don't know who cut this man's hair, but Roland Martin has a terrible haircut. Somebody gashed him up real good on the side.
What's your organization? I'm asking. No. What's your media organization? I'm independent. I'm asking you. What's your media organization? Oh, you need to be in a media organization? Well, if you're going to be a journalist, you have to be in a media entity. Oh, right. You need to be paid off by big corporate media? What's your media entity? Who do you work for? I work for me. I own my company. Oh, really? So you're an independent journalist? No. Isn't that what I just said? No, actually, this doesn't make any sense.
When I see them two guys arguing, these are two guys in the media. These are two journalists. And when I see them arguing, this reminds me of Bloods and Crips, just without the violence. Everything's gangs now. They don't put gang. It's crazy. Everything is like gangs now. Democrat, Republican, journalists versus Republican journalists, female journalists versus men journalists. It's getting bad. This country is spiraling out of control. Everything going on right now happened in Rome. Look up your history. Rome had abortions. They had these abortion places where if a woman didn't want the baby, she would just shit the baby out in a hole in the ground at a bathhouse. They found hundreds of baby skulls when they excavated some places in Rome. They found hundreds of baby skulls. And the man, I was looking at a channel where the man was talking about how when the women didn't want these kids, they would go to a bathhouse and the woman would give them some kind of herb, and she would squat over a hole in the ground. It was basically a sewer, and she would have the baby over the hole and let the baby drop in the hole and die. This is their version of abortion. You got the Gladiators. They got a movie coming out about gladiators, Gladiator 2. You got the Gladiators. You got football, UFC. Everything that Rome did, we are doing here in America right now. Everything, even our politics, has gotten so crazy to where one of the emperors of Rome was stabbed and killed by one of the senators. So everything's gotten so bad. Look at Donald Trump somebody tried to assassinate him. Everything that happened in Rome is happening right now. The only difference is that Rome was getting attacked on different fronts. In Europe, in Africa, Rome was getting attacked in different places. So that led to a faster downfall. But make no mistake about it, Rome perished because of its own self. Just like America is slowly perishing right before our eyes. Let's get to it again.
Back to the neighbor. What's your company? What? What's your company? What's this thing? What's your company? The company. It's called the company. Oh, it's called the company. It's called like, okay, that's great. Are you the CEO? Are you the CEO? Maybe. No, listen up. Are you the CEO? Why were you not on that? Are you the CEO?
That's Roland Martin arguing at the NABJ convention. That's all he was.
This lady is speaking right now. This is Pink Book Lessons. She's a very good host.
Doing the whole time, screaming and being emotional. Now, before the event, he spoke out against having an all-female panel to interview Trump.
No black male journalist. 4,000 members.
The truth is, he really didn't care about black men having a voice. He just wanted to wobble up there himself. No, he was not advocating for black men. He was advocating for Roland. He didn't want Trump at the event at all, but didn't care that the NABJ wasn't important enough for Kamala to show up too. They spent the last 2 weeks worshiping this non-black, racially ambiguous chameleon just for her to turn around and disrespect them by not having her at their event. Kamala knew about this event ahead of time, but didn't care to show up because she didn't want to face the all-black media. I don't know what she's scared of. They're not.
That lady right there is Indian. You can look at her family that she went to visit. She's an Indian American. Ain't nothing wrong with that. She's still a minority.
Questions about actual tangibles for black people, like what she supports specifically for her Red Dot Indian community or immigrants. I guess she's really not sure what would happen if she had to come off the speech that was already rehearsed and answer questions. Her advisors don't want her to take any chances. So it didn't matter that Kamala the cosplaying chameleon snubbed them and the boogeyman orange man bag actually showed up. Trump agreed to come, Kamala didn't, and that's why Roland Martin was already having a meltdown before Trump's appearance at the conference.
2, no black male journalists. 4,000 members. I'm down for the sisters. And if there were 3 black men and no sisters, I would be joining the sisters saying, what representation?
It's the reason why they had 3 women on the panel and not 1 man. But he's so busy simping for Kamala the cosplaying chameleon, he can't even see what's really going on. During the Trump discussion, Roland was sitting up in the front row acting like a terrible 2-year-old, interrupting ladies and Trump, which was also disrespectful, all because he wanted to be one of the women on stage and they wouldn't let him in. So he just sat there the whole time yelling from his high chair. Then when it was over, he went spreading his narrative on his platform and to all of his old black media friends, saying Trump shouldn't have been invited and how they should have cut him off, basically saying the discussion should have been like a baddies reunion. He's been criticizing the NABJ, asking why was Trump allowed to come when they've been inviting presidents and candidates for years. Obama Democrat, George Bush Republican. They're supposed to be unbiased media and professional. However, it's very obvious that they don't know how to do that. Because let's be honest, they would have never started an interview off like that with Kamala. They would have spent the whole time talking about her HBCU experience, being an AKA, and I can't forget the most important issue in the black community to Kamala, getting rid of more black babies. That's all they would have talked about. And let me tell you, every single one of them in the building would have been cheering the whole time. Yeah, cheering for our own destruction.
First of all, Kamala Harris didn't even show up. Kamala Harris didn't even show up because she don't feel like she needs to show up because she already knows she got the black folks lying up in Chicago and she don't have no respect for the black people. And let's not forget, she chicken. She complete chicken. She been saying she wanted to debate Trump, and this would have been the best time for her to be on stage with Trump and say whatever she wanted to say to him. But of course, she didn't even show up. The doggone interviewers, they were 35 minutes late because they had no respect for Trump either. But
hold up. I want to say something about this right here. She's right in a way. She's right. Okay? The reason why she's right is because the interviewers being 2 or 3 hours late for something that important, having a presidential candidate up there, and then you got Roland Martin in the audience throwing a tantrum. The man came. Kamala Harris didn't come because she feels like she already got the black vote. This is what I'm talking about when I say we in danger. We in danger because you got a lot of blacks who are not going to vote for her because they understand that people are trying to force them to. But what I'm trying to say is she is the better choice. So now we got a problem. We got people who are sitting back saying, I'm not voting for her because they trying to force us to vote for her and vote for her blindly. I get it, but she still is the better candidate. This is the same thing with Hillary Clinton. We was put in the same situation with Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton was the better choice. But you got so many people voted for Donald Trump because they didn't like Hillary. They felt like people was trying to force them to take Hillary. And they was correct. And they was correct in thinking that. This is why I say America, whoever's pulling the strings is destroying this country. This whole scenario to where they're trying to force the women code on the rest of America. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with women being bosses. There's nothing wrong with women owning their own businesses. There's nothing wrong with women being in politics. But when you try to force that agenda, there's something wrong with that. There's something wrong with people trying to force that agenda. And you're gonna have that's like you walking into a dark room and somebody turning the light on in your eyes. What you gonna first do? You're gonna turn away from it because they forced it on you. But if you slowly dim the light, dim it up, then they can accept it better. The whole forcing somebody to do something is what people are turning away from. Let's continue on. This is interesting. Kamala Harris versus Trump.
Kudos to you for going into this bullcrap. Now, this interview didn't even start the interview off by saying hello, President Trump, or hello, former President Trump, or hello, Trump. She didn't even speak to him. She just went straight into the text. Let me tell y'all something. I don't like Kamala Harris at all. Period. Y'all know I don't like Kamala Harris, but she is the VP of the United States of America. And if I had a conversation with her, if I had an interview with her, the first thing I would do before I even started any question would say, hello, VP Harris, how you doing? That's the least respect you can give to anybody. But these disrespectful tricks, they have any respect for Trump. All they did was come out with a tag from the beginning.
Tariq Nasheed off.
You know why they didn't have no respect for Trump? Because they knew, being women, they can disrespect him all they wanted to, and there's very little he can do about it. This is why they did that. Very little he can do about it. And you see a lot of men are waking up to this, to where a lot of women are taking advantage of this, to the point where they're passive aggressive. That's what you call passive aggressive, when you got a woman who knows she has power to get you hurt or thrown in jail or canceled. So she uses that power to say or do anything she want to do to you. And basically daring Trump, that's what they was doing, basically daring Trump to say something biased, sexist, or racist. This is crazy.
Also agree they should ask important questions while maintaining a level of decorum.
Pretty objective, and this is what you're supposed to do. And this is another thing. When Trump went over there to speak to the NABJ, you know, a lot of people are critical of the being rude, because the thing is, there's a rule. If you invite somebody to your platform or to your house or to your forum, you're supposed to, and they accept, you're supposed to give them just the proper amount of respect for just showing up in good faith. You don't bring somebody on just to browbeat them immediately. You can ask tough questions, but you don't invite somebody to your platform and get them there and then just start browbeating them after they've accepted an invitation. You're supposed to show some kind of decorum.
But that thing with NABJ, where they got the women up there asking these accusatory questions and kind of being rude and all that. And didn't they have Roland out there yelling in the audience? Roland, big old job, out there yelling like a damn woman. yelling stuff. Come on, man, that ain't, dude. They didn't have no men up there. This is what we need. We need masculinity out there. Put the women out there, and then if Trump says anything that they don't like, oh, that's misogyny, all of that stuff.
You see that? That's the same thing I just said. That's why they had those women up there. Because if he said anything wrong to these women, they can go back and accuse him of being misogynist, racist, all kinds of stuff. This is what I mean when I say they're pushing an agenda.
See, I don't want us to be looking, I don't want the black community to just perpetually be feminized. Where the women gotta represent, and Trump is out here standing on manhood business. Just the optics of it. We got Trump walking in like a man, standing up like a man, and you got a big rolling jolly that's when his bouncing in the audience yelling. And there's women on stage. Come on, man.
The problem with Roland is, in his mind, he thinks he should be the main person in charge to speak to and for black people. He's yelling in the audience that Trump is a liar over and over again when he had Tiffany Teflon in his face and allowed her to lie for an hour, over and over again.
Tiffany Teflon, the mayor that's down there under investigation, is a female.
The black women and black men that's been fighting for justice while all the crooks in Cook County and the whole state of Illinois allowed her to steal millions from black people and ruin their businesses. He didn't have that energy at all with her. At the end of the day, Roland, you don't run the NABJ. You're just a member. He's acting like it's a company and he's the owner. He's only mad because he wasn't chosen to interview Trump. He was talking as if he was standing up against it being all black women and wanting a black man in there, knowing that if a black man was selected other than him, he would still be throwing a tantrum. You would think that an organization that's always speaking on diversity, they would want a black man up there. But for Roland, this wasn't about that. It was about him. Let's go ahead and get the conversation started. Let me know what you think about this below.
Now that was Pink Book Lessons. And like I said, you guys need to follow her, watch her show. One of the best shows on YouTube as far as commentary on the things that's going on. Not just in the black community, but she snatches up a lot of things that are happening around the globe and around the nation, and she's good. And I want you, like I said, I'm gonna compare her one more time to Michael Savage. Listen to this.
Habitable because of the bums crapping in the street, because of the robbery and the crime that's being covered up. And I don't blame the police, I blame liberalism. Liberalism is a mental disorder, and wherever super liberals take over, the cities go to the toilet bowl. Look at New York. I was just there last week. You take your life in your hands, walking around with the folks with the box cutters underneath the cup, the shaking cup. But I want to talk about the bums in San Francisco, the bums in New York. In other words, what you call homeless.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I can't. This guy right here is super funny. Super funny. I love it. And he don't mind calling you a bum. If you're a bum, you're a bum.
The word homeless itself is a fabrication of the radical left. Because so far as I know, there is no biblical... let's talk about the Constitution, not the Bible. Can anyone show me where in the Bible it says I owe a bum a house? Show me where it says I owe them a house. What I owe them is a jail cell or a mental hospital. That's the only housing that they're entitled to. So the bums are now so brazen because the cops have been neutralized by the liberals that they're literally openly defecating and peeing in the streets in front of people. Now, you know the city for its Golden Gate Bridge, the mixture of cultures and races, the beautiful fog, and mainly the bums, the out-of-control bums who came into the city mainly during the hippie era. They urinate in your face now. They've been doing this for a long time, but it's gotten real bad under the new mayor.
That was Michael Savage, people, the guy that started me on my journey in talk radio. This is the Daily Read, and I'm out.
The business, motherfucker.
The Daily Read.